Hi guys, I hope you're doing great. Today is Thursday, March 19th. This is the first bellwork question we want to talk about. It's an SAT question that one of my students sent. Thank you so much for applying what you're learning. In the right triangle, one angle measures x degree, and the sine of x degree is 4/5. So what's the cosine of 90 minus x? It's nice how the student wrote the 90 as pi over 2, because then you can see that there is an identity that you can apply, and cosine of pi over 2 minus x is the sine of x. So the question is, what's the cosine of 90 minus x? It's the same as sine of x, which is 4/5. This is a gridded response, so you're supposed to grid 4/5. Let's say you did not notice this. I made a figure that could help you understand this. This is a right triangle. This is angle x. You could choose it here or here. It doesn't matter. You still end up with the same result. The sine of this was given. It's 4/5. So opposite over hypotenuse. Now the question is, what's the cosine of 90 minus x? And 90 minus x is actually the third angle in this triangle, because this is 90, this is x. So what's left is 90 minus x. Let's say this was 20, this would be 70. Let's say this was 30, this will be 60, and that's how this is a 90 minus x. So the cosine of this is adjacent. So 4 over hypotenuse, which is 5. That's how you can see this identity, sine x equal cosine of 90 minus x. And this was the first SAT question. There's two more. If you guys see, one is geometry related. Both are calculator allowed. So you can see in the figure above, lines A and B are parallel and P and Q are parallel. If angle 1 measures 135, what's the measure of angle 2? We can see on the figure this is angle 1 and this is angle 2. They're kind of far from each other. So parallel, once you see parallel lines and you're talking about angles, you're going to use corresponding vertical, alternate interior. All those are titles you guys learned in geometry. So 1 right away is equal to this one, because they're corresponding, and 1 is also equal to 1 because they're corresponding, and I need 2. So 2 and 1 form a linear pair. They form a 180 degree, so that's why we get 2 by doing 180 minus 135, which equals 45 degree. So just to show you, when you have a set of parallel lines, those two angles are corresponding. And I'm gonna do blue and purple. The blue and purple form a linear pair. They add up to 180 degrees. The blue and the blue are equal. We call them corresponding. The last question for today, the SAT question, is a table probability. The question is, the table above shows the distribution of single-story and two-story houses in a neighborhood classified according to the roof type. If one of the houses is selected at random, what's the probability that it will be a single-story house with a slate roof? So as you guys see, I made lines in the table, and here it's not very clear, but with also could be substituted with and. So you're looking at the intersection, single story and slate roof. So the intersection of those is 4. 4, since it's a probability, it's a ratio, so it's 4 out of the total, 4 out of 48, and that will be A. Remind you, like a formula, probability is equal to number of favorable events over the total number of events. So what's my favorite event? My favorite is the one in question, which is single story and slate. Single story and slate. There's 4 of them. There's 4 favorite out of the total. And that was our SAT bellwork for today.